Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hey, wherever you are on the planet and this worldwide wonderful. Yes, I hope you're having a great time. Sister Elle here right now with Rasul Rabbi, and we're here to do another session. And we're looking at ancient African symbology and the Kabbalah. Is that right?
Well, I don't know how ancient it is, but let's just say we're going to focus on African spiritual sciences and how they, how I have, not they, yeah, let me be specific there. How I have interpreted what I've researched so far and how I sort of put the two systems together and lay them flat on each other to see the symmetry and the similarities and how that informs me to sort of I guess get a feeling of the relationship and see how I can utilize the relationship to garnish what I already know.
Right, okay, so it's a sort of like matching systems together maybe, or utilizing specific aspects of systems, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people ask me why I study Kabbalah. And for me personally, it's a Western way of interpreting African science, or should I say African spiritual science. It allows me to, from my Western perspective, see how our ancestors engage with forces of nature, celestial and terrestrial powers, and sort of see how I can do the same thing, you know?
Right, in like a more so-called modern way, as we would say, or
Modern way, yes, and in a way that makes sense to me. Um, let's face it, if you're not born there and you're not engaged in the system that's been practiced,
right,
then you're going to have certain biases. And not only are you going to have certain biases, there's certain things that may be more comfortable for you as somebody with a Western perspective. And so, in order to find a filter where you can look at your practices from a more objective view and then from a more constructive view that allows you to utilize it to achieve a goal.
right. So in certain traditions, you would do some chanting, let's say, and once you do a certain amount of chanting, then you open up different gateways within yourself, and then this attracts a certain knowledge that you're requiring, or a certain abundance of whatever it is that you desire or require.
Yes. So
you're talking about the system Darth, and
okay,
where that is in the.
I wanna briefly, before I sort of start delving deep, I want to talk about the African system. So the similarities of African systems are that they use deities, right, or statues, or icons.
Yeah,
right?
That's right, like a representation.
Absolutely. And these icons represent, as Elias quite said, a representation of a spiritual phenomenon, a natural force, or a desire.
Yeah.
Right. So I say this is my perspective and my personal theory. Maybe someone else has come up with it, but I haven't heard it. I'm sure someone has. That our ancestors created vestiges. They created vestiges to house terrestrial powers.
Right.
Right. Whilst following and utilizing celestial forces.
Oh.
Right. Because when you create, so for instance, if you're a Catholic and you're a devout Catholic, you will know that the blood and the wine and the bread get turned into the body and the blood of Christ. The word they use for this is transubstantiation.
Right.
Right.
So it's like a mechanism.
It's a spiritual practice.
Yes.
Hindus do this. Buddhists do this. Transubstantiation. You create a particular icon or statue,
Right.
and then you invoke a terrestrial power or force to live in the statue, right?
Right.
And the reason is then this power and force is readily available to you. So, for instance, we know that electricity has forced us in the atmosphere, but once we create the mechanisms to harness it, then we got light, right? We got technology,
Yeah.
and this is what our ancestors did. So
Okay.
we need to get away from the idea of idolatry.
Yeah.
All right.
Because it's used mainly as a symbol, as a mechanism for the
Right.
projection of the energy to come through. And some people say the human version of that is like when people channel or have a receptivity of specific planets or asteroids or other forces that might be circulating like the circumference of our Earth at this time. So it can come through the person, like you were saying, it can come in the jar that to represent that. Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
So to further elaborate, we constructed images that represent terrestrial powers. So for instance, because I'm Yoruba, so I can only speak about what I know from the Yoruba tradition. I'm not a priest, I'm not initiated into anything. This is just research and my own intuition. Right? And so we know that the Orisha, the deity called Ogun or Ogun, right, is the ruler of iron specifically.
Right.
The ruler of blacksmiths.
Okay.
Right, and also somebody who engages in war.
This is like Mars. It's
exactly
like Mars in the system.
Right, and I know from the tradition now that sometimes when they want to do something for Ogun, it's done on a Tuesday.
That's right.
Which is Mars Day. And that's one example. And on the Tree of Life you'll see Aura, anybody's familiar with the Tree of Life, that's the colour is red. And Ogun's colours are red and white.
Okay.
Right, so this is what we're talking about, how they housed terrestrial powers.
Yes.
Within a particular vestige, right, that represents
the
power. Terrestrial power.
Yeah.
Now let's go deep into this, because I deeply root my mysticism in science. Right. What allows your blood to collect oxygen?
Like the hemoglobin within the
iron.
The
iron in the blood.
The iron in the blood.
So
indeed.
And what colour's the blood?
Red is represented. So blue underneath.
Right. Yeah. And anyone who practices any traditional Yoruba religion will know that Ogun likes blood. His favourite animal from the Yoruba tradition is a dog. Right. And back in the day, in old ancient Yoruba land, they used to sacrifice human beings to Ogun. Because remember, Ogun is the god of warfare, so what blood is he eating during wars? It's human blood.
It's human blood.
When you go to war,
it's not dog's blood, is it?
Right. But that tradition doesn't exist. As far as I know. Niggas might still be out there killing niggas in Ogun Shrine. I don't know. Right?
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. I don't participate.
Right.
I'm not interested in such things. Right? So this is just one of the examples. Now I'll give you another example. What's the most magnetic iron? What's the most magnetic metal? Iron. So
we're back to the iron again.
I know from my Yoruba judicial system, when you want to make somebody swear an oath, they make you hold iron bar, and you'd make an oath. And if you didn't keep that oath, you would die by accident. Because
you had the power of it in it. That's why.
Right, because you're making an oath with iron, which is magnetic.
And it's in your blood.
Right. So when you go against the action, right, it's coming back for you.
Yes.
Right. So
but
this
it's easily seen because it's it's easily seen because you're attached to it. you're attached to the whole ritual,
So
symbolism.
we go back to the whole thing of our ancestors putting a terrestrial power in a visage.
Yes.
Right? Terrestrial power in a visage.
Yeah.
That's just, I'm just giving one example. So we need to understand that Ogun is the knife in the house. Ogun is the computer that you're watching me through now, because he also represents technology. Because let's be honest, most technology is not only developed to increase your standard of living, but also for warfare, to protect your village.
Yeah,
people develop technology.
Yeah,
yo, them niggas have got some big spears now. I think we need a bigger spear over there. Look how big their shields are. Oh shit, we need a rounder shield now, don't we?
Yeah, that's right. And it's all about protecting your essence and your very existence.
Absolutely. Literally. So that's just a what's the word I would use? A through line to describe, or an analogy to describe what I mean when I say our ancestors basically captured a terrestrial power, which means nature, forces of nature, you know, and utilize it for their own means. So I'll give you another example. If you want to do a particular project and you got a reading from a Babalawo or Palero or whoever it is, right, whatever they call themselves, if something was obstructing your path, they tell you to make a sacrifice to Ogun so the road can
make it
open.
Clear. Yeah.
And the representation is that when our ancestors were walking through the forest, it's Ogun, the machete they used to cut their way through so they can create a path.
Right. That's
right. Yeah. So
and you're making new pathways, isn't it? Well, everything's literally a new pathway. Where we are now, when I was saying, oh, the garden comes into the house, it was like, no, the house comes into the garden. The house does come into the garden actually, so it's like who's taking up whose space actually. If we're looking at it in a natural, from a holistic viewpoint, right? And so when the essence is captured in the vestige in the jar, is this becomes part of a divination system, or
so not necessarily a jar per se, but
in a structure.
In a structure. So divination is another part of African spirituality. I mean, the most frequent things you'll find in most African spirituality: divination, African sacrifice, animal sacrifice, veneration of ancestors, and the reverence of a supreme deity. So most African systems, people used to say polytheistic, but now some people say henotheistic. Now henotheistic basically means there's a supreme source, there's a supreme creator, but there's a lot of other forces below that supreme creator that are agents of the supreme creator. And we see something similar in the Christian and the Islamic paradigm, where in Christianity you've got angels.
Angels,
which are sort of like mechanics of gods.
Yeah.
Because every angel, or not every, majority of angels end with the L, and L is one of the Hebrew names for God. Gabriel, Michael, Uriel, Raphael, right to the agents of L.
Yeah.
Right? And then in the Islamic paradigm, you've got the 99 attributes of Allah. Shit, if Allah is just one person, why do you need 99 attributes? Couldn't you just call an Allah? Why do I need to be specific now and call Ar-Rahim or Ar-Rahman? Why?
The aspects then of the being, and also if there's aspects of ourselves so diverse, why would the aspect of the being that's we're in this creative place not have all sides also? It would have all sides, wouldn't it? And it would want to see these sides of itself.
Of course it would have all sides.
Yeah, and be creative with it also.
Absolutely. And I think what we as people of diaspora, me myself included, is that we need to understand that not everything our ancestors practiced was completely bullshit. We wasn't just out there swinging on trees. Being idolatrous. Do you understand? Just bowing before some wooden image.
Yeah. Some wood that we found over there in the corner somewhere.
Like there was no sign.
Like there was exactly. Like the holy tree and all these symbols of specific. Yeah, that's right.
Exactly, and I think we need to see that these same things still go on today, but in a different way. So, for instance, you know, no blast at my Islamic people, but the Kaaba could be considered idle because people go there, they walk around it, they throw stones and whatever. Like shit, if God really said don't make no image, you don't need a place, you don't need a box. Just stay in your yard, stay in your yard,
and connect with it
and just
directly.
connect. Why do I need to? What's the whole thing to Mecca for? Right?
Yeah.
Similar with Christians. What's the whole thing to Jerusalem for? And why do I need to have a monument? Why do I need to have a reminder?
I think also it can be like a connection of people doing it together also.
Okay, so okay, that's fine. So
but it's not that they're not saying it is to God. It is to God, but it's like when they, what do they call it? It's like they make pilgrimage. It's like a pilgrimage, right?
Okay, cool.
And then,
but this is my thing for the monotheistic religions that are so on not making anything somewhat like God. Don't use any representation. Don't just stick with your book. You're so adamant about other people using representations. Why do you need a representation?
Well, this is the thing. So people can talk what they like, but actions always speak louder. And I think the action is needed, required, should I say?
Absolutely.
Because we're active beings.
Absolutely. And the thing is, human beings naturally seek out representations. We normally do this. This is normal. We used to see things in nature, and what as the word is personify.
Yeah.
Right? Personify, and we do it today. Like, regardless of what religion you are, like you might have thundershower, someone's angry upstairs, but who told you that's anger? That's like electrons and fucking neutrons and shit, and nature doing its business. You're there giving that fucking interpretation.
Because it's a human interpretation. Right. This is the thing. It's about the human.
Right.
And you're delving into so-called universal or godly elements, and you can only humanize it because
you have to give it something.
Yeah.
That's the way you recognize it. You give it something that relates to you. Right? And God's only going to manifest in a way that relates to you. My theory is that everyone across the planet was encountered by this divine power and force, and they made of it what they could and what they will.
Yeah.
Right? Now to turn around and tell other people that what they're doing is completely wrong.
And made dynasties of such vastness also. So it's just about, I think it's about a revival in time of, because our history is always going to be here. Now people say, oh, we've only got the now, the past is gone, but like 5 minutes ago was the past, and then in another hour it's going to be the so-called future. So we've literally just got the now to live in. However, in living in that now, the now, you could say, like in half an hour, okay, I'm going to do this specific ritual, or I'm going to do this specific expansion, mediation, something that's going to vibrate with you and the universe, because you're consciously aware that you're part of it also, and the gifts that the universe has to give us to use, this is what we have to tap into and learn how to use them.
Absolutely.
I think, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we should always seek to improve ourselves, but nonetheless, I think we need to preserve our traditions. We need to stop being scared of it. We need to give it a place in history. We need to preserve it, and we need to upgrade it. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all. Guys, we need to stop being scared here.
Well, there isn't actually anything to be scared of. It's actually benefiting. Will give us a greater knowledge, understanding, give ourselves greater food to eat, and greater expansion. And there's the next generations coming behind us. So what we're going to say to them, oh no, we just stop at this version of history and nothing else grows. No.
And I often say sometimes when I'm talking to certain people that you go and buy chicken and chips, or you go and buy chicken and you eat it, right? And then you're there scared of a man slitting a chicken's bloody throat. Are you alright, bro? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
you don't see where the initiation came from.
But that's how your mind is so removed from nature. You're scared to see an animal get killed, right? But you're happy to eat that animal.
I know.
Come on, that's such a
I think
to me that's a psychosis.
Well, that's what the vegetarians would say. Because why? You better just not eat it. If you can't, if you're not going to do that yourself, then why eat it? Right. However, we live in a time where it's very hard to be killing a chicken in your back garden. Come on, let's be honest.
No, you could.
You can actually do. I'm not saying it's not doable. However, people have them in their garden. Yeah, if they've got a chicken coop, etc., they have the space to do that. But an average person in a flat, block of flats, it's a little bit more difficult to be storing chickens and using that utilisation for your magic endeavours. Is that right, sir?
Indeed. So, yeah, and then I wanted to touch on the West African divination system. In the Yoruba it's called Ifa, and across West Africa you've got certain terminologies like Afa and Fa, and this represents the 16 major configurations. These configurations are binary code, so 1 and a 0 or open and closed, and a 16 major, 240 minor, making altogether 256 codexes. This is a very, in my opinion, powerful form of divination, and the divination from the Ifa perspective, it gives you your problem. And within the Odu or the verse that's spoken, also gives you the remedy for the solution. Now, not all of them are like that. Some of them might advise you and give you the solution. So if you behave a particular way, then you get where you're going. And the other ones you might need to make a ball. Like we need to do some sacrifices. It might be rice. It might be bean cake. Yeah, or might be an animal, right?
Yeah.
It's not always animal.
Yeah, that's right. It can be,
sometimes it's food that you lay out. Yeah, or sometimes it's for you to cook and feed your community.
But you know that the plant screams when you kill it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Secret life of plants. Please, there's vegans on here. They don't want to deal with that. Please.
Well, okay.
You know what I mean? There's vegans in here.
We shouldn't do that. Okay. So, okay, so divination systems.
Yeah, and what I want to say is that I've discovered that there's a similarity between the Western divination system they call geomancy and the West African system they call Ifa, Afa, Fa, whatever you want to call it. The divination system called geomancy also has the same 16 major figures, but has them as one figure. Now, in the West African system, they always appear in twos. So you'd have 1, 1, 1, 1 in geomancy, which is called Via of the way. And then you'd have in the African system, you have 1, 1, 1, then 1, 1, 1, 1, which would be called Eji Ogwe Meji, which means Eji Ogwe twice.
Okay.
And they would use the twice for the 16 major. However, with the geomancy, they'll just use the 1 for the 16 major.
Okay.
Right? And you will see that in the geomancy, they've added astrology to it. And so you can actually put a square, then another square, and see the 12 houses, and then put the geomantic figure at each houses, and at the end of it, you get 2 witnesses and a judge. Right? And the judge is your final answer. Right? Whereas with the West African system, it can either be done with 16 cola nuts that they move up and down like this.
Oh yeah.
1's left in the hand, they mark 1. If 2's left in the hand, they mark 2. Right? Or they can use what they call an ogbele, which is like a chain. Yeah? And they throw it on the floor, and then there's half of this cola nuts that's been cut into half. If it's facing up, that's open. If it's facing down, that's closed, and they read it. They tell you this is what it is, and so on and so forth. So it was an interesting discovery. I'm still doing more research on it. And pretty soon, once I've delved into it and sort of practice some myself in my own little way, and I'll be to shed light.
Practice yourself, definitely.
I have to practice. For me personally, there's no point being a mystic or magician, or whatever you call yourself. No point doing that if you're not practicing, because then it's just theory.
It is just theory, and also you'll be just passing on theory. And when you want to actually see
you want to see people practice.
You want to see the thing of it.
You know what I mean? Theory is wonderful because theory is what leads into practice. You know what I mean? But to me, essentially, Africans
the practice have to. The practice has to come into it.
If the shit didn't work, you would have done it. You need to think about that carefully. If it didn't work, we would not have done it. Would have thrown it out the window, because from what I know from African systems, like you might be born, like you may have done a reading and they say like, oh, you know, you're meant to be Obatala or whatever, right? And in certain instances, right, some people get pissed and say, you know, I'm tired of Obatala, man. You ain't doing shit for me. Do you understand? I'm going to go with Aishu. Do you understand? Like that nigga kicks ass, right? And it happens, not all the time, but it happens.
It does happen.
So I know for a fact, from a practical point of view, if it didn't work, do you understand, we wouldn't have done it. And what people don't realize is no matter what quote unquote deities meant to hold your head within the Yoruba system, ultimately your head or your Ori is the one and only one that guides you and accepts anything. So if your mind and your head ain't right, doesn't matter who you're under. Do you understand? And really and truly, who's going to take you where you're going is your head.
Well,
ultimately.
Well, I always used to say, wherever your mind is, your body will soon follow.
True.
Because he's right, yeah, most definitely. It is a fact. Definitely. So in wherever our mind is, this is where the expansion obviously happens first and foremost. And this is where, I suppose, this is where we get to clarify things that we've learned and bring it into the physical. And once we see it for ourselves, this is where we can show other people. Because literally you can physically show them, right? Because you've walked that path, right?
Absolutely. And I think that's an essential. I think for me, my main thing is basically trying to show people that one, we weren't completely lunatics in Africa. Weren't all idolaters running around killing animals and human beings and sort of just
being general, being general, not knowing what we're doing, basically. No, we built magnificent structures, magnificent, not like, oh well, it'll be like two little bits of planks of wood put together, and like, no, we built things without glue. How about that? Built things without glue. We put stones together without glue and made geometric shapes that were in tune with planets that were going overhead at a specific time. And this is why they had stories like the 3 wise men following the stars. It wasn't like the 3 stupid men. It was not the Bible I wrote. It's literally, and this is where you bring in the outer elements of life to guide you as we go along on this path. And it's something from ancient times gone, because it takes like certain planets like 500 years to go around.
Wow.
Yeah, so like this is why when they say Moses lived to 500 and 700 years, and Methuselah, wasn't Methuselah, it was
900 and something.
Yeah, that's right. So they had several like Pluto returns, something that we would never gain here. However, it's not that we would never gain it, it's where's our perceptiveness of that effort to gain that? Are we being taught how to elongate ourselves to not really, I don't think so. It's just about balancing and weighing things up as we carry on.
I would, yeah.
And so I think it's really good that you're remembering the ancient system or the older system.
I mean, what it is that there's a lack of knowledge for what actually goes on, and because West African systems are initiatory, you need to be initiated before they let you know what goes on. People are like, oh, why nigga, please. If you're a Freemason, you need to be initiated. Right? If you're in the House of Parliament, once you reach a particular place, they swear you in.
What do you think swearing in is?
Do you understand? They swear
what do you think swearing in is? Yeah.
Right? So that's just the sort of quandary that you know most people are in at the moment, and a lot of people are sort of got a misrepresentation. Nollywood does a lovely job at misrepresenting these people. You know what I mean? They're with the people putting curses on
Oh,
people.
yeah, and
You
turned
know
it
what I
into
mean?
some sort
Yeah,
of
I mean,
next
and then the
system.
church person, the
And
Muslim person has to save them.
yeah.
Like Muslims and Christians don't do horrible things or don't do crazy rituals somewhere.
Enslavement.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, you
Yeah.
know, okay, so from a Kabbalistic point of view, so the deity that presides over Ifa in Yoruba tradition is called Oromila, right? But I know that the Ewe tribe have a different name for the guy who came down and brought them what they call the Fa,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So we know it's the same system, but they've got two different names to represent the person who brought it down.
Yeah.
It's my suspicion that it was a system that was taught
And passed down.
and passed down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my assumption. It was taught and passed down. And maybe these people who were taught it rose to a prominent position and taught other people. You know,
Most
that's my
definitely.
assumption.
Yeah. And things that obviously did pass down generations, but as we know, certain histories were lost and certain histories were hidden on purpose, destroyed on purpose. So we have to remember such things as well as we are studying and delving into informations that are coming towards us.
Absolutely. So I say that to say that within the Kabbalistic tree of life, you've got a Sephira called Daf, which means knowledge.
Right.
Right. This Sephira is called the invisible Sephira, and it's in the middle of the first triad, which is Kefa, Bina, Kefa, Chokma, and Bina, and it's the child of Chokma.
Yeah.
Bina is the child, right? It's what they call the abyss, right? So when you go into the middle way, which is from Malkuth, Yesod, Tiferet. After Tiferet, you cross the abyss into Daf, and then you experience Kefa, right, which is divine source, right? Daf, from my perspective, would represent the divination system. Now, for me, Daf is where divination begins, and it expresses itself in Hod. Hod is splendor, yes,
Right.
splendor or magnificence or something like splendid, you know?
Something grand,
right.
yeah.
Right, but Hod also represents spiritual science, alchemy. You will find divination in Hod. Yeah, you will find the art of divination in Hod. But I believe that when you are divining, you're working from Daf, which is knowledge, right? And if you're a modern Kabbalist and you're a modern astrologer, Daf represents Pluto. You see, they often say that if you approach Daf and your mind isn't right or you're not of good character, you lose your mind.
Okay. Because Pluto is a planet that is like a resurrector. It takes you deep and shakes everything up and down, and it's a co-ruler with Mars for Scorpio. Yeah.
Look at that. And I know here's another thing from someone I know who practices said to me that if you're an Ifa priest and you ask a question, you throw the chain and you get edgy away, you're not supposed to throw the chain again. It's like, you know, your path is clear. If I throw the chain again, I'm chancing fate.
Yeah, so you better go with that, right?
This is it. If you get every other combination, you can throw it again. Well, that's what he said. It might be different. Do you understand? But the point is,
he's going with a specific system, isn't he? That's the point.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So Darth, if you're not centered, you know, some people might divine because they don't like the answer. They divine over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But then you divine to see what's going on. You don't divine to get the answer you want.
To see what's in front of you, maybe sort out all issues that are coming up for you, and it has to be relocated because that's why it's coming up. It's not settled where it is, wherever it is in your system. That's why it's reoccurring
From my understanding, divination or the idea or the spiritual or the invisible components of divination take place in Darth.
Right.
This
On the
mystical
Kabbalah
place.
system.
Yeah, this mystical place. And this is a place where they say you how can I say? So it's almost as if like if you know knowledge, if you have knowledge, it can be a dangerous thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
Or
But
it can be a
also be a
useful thing.
useful thing.
It just depends how you can balance it for one, and how you hold it, really. Yeah, most definitely.
Absolutely.
And this is what they say about like the mad professor, because it can either keep you as the professor or keep you mad. Well, not mad, but like you got theories that other people may not be able to understand, and this is another issue that can be called mad or bad, because you've got areas that people don't understand, and then later on when somebody describes it to them in a different mechanism or different manner, then it connects to what they'd heard previously, which they thought was crazy stuff. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I just thought I'd let people know exactly what I'm studying at this precise moment, where I'm at. I do have a book coming out soon, bear with me. I've written it, I just need to type it up. Right? Just need to type it up. I've started typing it up on PowerPoint, and yeah, once I finish, I'm getting Nigeria soon, so once I finish, I will be putting that out definitely, and we'll see where it goes from there, you know.
Yay, that'll be so great. And yeah, we're hoping to try and see how we can do cross country, cross Atlantic, which will be very good. Yeah, amazing, amazing. So he's going to dive deep and delve into mysteries unknown, and hopefully to be known a little bit more soon.
Indeed.
So thank you all for tuning in today to Sister Ellen Rasul Rabbi, and should they contact you?
Live long and prosper. You can contact me on Rasul Rabbi, Rasul RASUL _ Rabbi RABBI on Instagram. All my details are on Instagram. And if you can't, just DM me, you know. So love, peace, joy, happiness, blessings, and abundance to everybody. Yeah.
Many thanks, and I'll see you all soon as the academic gem.